Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to learn how to make a straight skirt. Okay, so this fabric I'm using has a pattern underneath, so I want to make this M line to be the base of my skirt, this pattern to be the base of the skirt. So the kind of straight skirt I want to make today is going to stop at my calf, that's in between my knee and my ankle. Okay, so here I folded my fabric and I'm refolding again because what I need here is my hip measurement. Cut of my hip measurement is 11, and I need like an inch plus, okay, to make my sewing allowance. Okay, so here I want to cut my front pattern first. All right, so I'm taking the length of my skirt from my waist to my calf, a little bit below my calf, is 28 inches, and I'm adding 2 inches for hemming allowance and then the sewing allowance at the hem line. Okay, I'm making a bandless skirt. And mind you, my skirt, the way I make my own skirt, I like my skirt sitting on my natural waist. I don't want my skirt low waist. Okay, so if you are making a low waist skirt, all you need to do is calculate the distance from your low waist skirt, okay, the low waist itself now, to your hip measurement. Okay, for me, I use 8.5, so I'm still working with 8.5, so I'm going to deduct my band, okay, because I'm going to add a band to it. Okay, so here I'm taking off like an inch for my band measurement. So I said I have 28 inches, and I'm going to add 2 inches to that to give me my my hem line. That's my band, my hemming allowance, sorry, and my sewing allowance. So all I have here is 30 inches, though I've deducted 1 inch from it. Okay, so I'm just calculating my measurement again. All right, so this is going to be my waist line. Okay, all right, so the next measurement, so I'm going to use here this pattern for the hemline, and this is going to be my waistline. Okay, so what I have here, I've deducted 1 inch, and here I have 30 inches. Okay, so from this line, I'm going to start with this 1 inch line, then I'm going to mark for my hip measurement. Okay, so this is my hip measurement. So now what I'm going to do here is I have half an inch here for my sewing allowance, so that means I'm coming down here, all right, to this 1.5 to mark my 8.5 for my hip measurement. That's my hip line. Okay, so I'm going to roll the line again like we did earlier, okay, so that I can get my horizontal line for my skirt line. So now I'm going to insert my measurement. This is my waistline and this is my hip line. Okay, and I have the hem of my skirt, so I'm cutting for my front now. Okay, so now I want to insert my measurement. My waist measurement is 32 inches. Quarter of my waist is 8 inches. So I'm going to add the 8 inches here. So to that 8 inches, I'm going to add an inch for my waist dart, and I'm going to add 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So from here to here, I have my waist, quarter of my waist dart, quarter of my waist measurement plus 1 inch for my dart and 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So here I go to quarter of my hip. Quarter of my hip here is 11 inches. My hip is 44 inches, and I'm adding 1 inch to that. Okay, so now I'll move to the hem of the skirt. Okay, to the hem of the skirt, what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to take the measurement I have here, which is 12 inches, then I'm going to deduct 1.5 inch. Why? Because I want that place to be penciled. I don't want it, I want it to be tapered, let me put it that way. Okay, I want it to be slimmer at the end. I don't want it to just go boom like a bag. All right, so 12 inches minus 1.5 will give me 10.5 inch. So that's what I'm going to mark it. So this 10.5, I already have my sewing allowance there, so I'm going to connect this one to this, then to my hem line. Okay, So watch me as I go. So what I'm going to do basically here is, let me just use my hand, okay, because it's not going to be super straight, it's going to be curvy, because if I use my ruler then it will be straight. Can you see that? Can you see that I have some, you know, coming out there? So now I'm going to come down here, like the way I shape my skirt. I come down here maybe to like maybe like 2 inches down, but I'm going to rule my line here. So let me just check my measurement here. What I need here is 10.5, and that is what I have there. So I'm going to come up 10.5, I'm going to roll it down, okay, then I'll stop like, let's say 3 inches down or so. I'm going to slightly mark this one to meet it, okay. So when you look at what I have here, you know, from this line, before I could join, so let's say 6 inches down. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to balance up this place because I don't want any sharp edge, and I'm going to go like this, okay. Then you go back to meet that line. All right, if you don't want it to be too slimmer at the down, you can take in 1 inch. There, you can take out 1 inch. I took 1.5 because I'm okay with 1.5, okay. So now I'm going to cut, and we are still going to work here, but I don't want to cut it off now. I can just mark it. What I normally do here, I come down by 1 inch, okay, so that my stomach can breathe. Then I can equally have like some kind of some, you know, balance there. So I'm going to join here. So you can take ½ inch on this side, but I prefer working with 1 inch, okay. So that I connected to my sewing allowance. You can see I skipped my dart and I connected it to my sewing allowance. So here I have my markings like so. So I'm going to cut it out now, but I'm not going to cut here because I want to use this template to cut my back's pattern, okay. So this is what we have. So can you see the shape? You know, that's how it's going to be, because if you look at your body, this is the shape that your body carries, okay. So this is what I have. Then I'm going to use this to cut the back, okay. So here I folded my fabric again. You can see this is at this edge was where I cut out my front pattern. So I'm going to bring back my front pattern and I'm going to lay it here. So what I have here is I folded my hip measurement, okay. Then I added my zipper allowance because I'm having my zip at the back. So here is my zipper allowance. What I have here is about 1.5 inches, okay. That's what I have there. I have 1.5 inches, and that's what I'm going to work with, okay. So I'm going to use this one as a template, okay. I'm not adding anything other than here. I already have my sewing allowance incorporated to the front. So all I need to do is I'm just going to cut out this one. And that was why I didn't cut out this slope at the front, because I need a balance for my waist measurement, okay. So I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to show you shortly. Okay, so here, if you look at what I have here, you see that I have my sewing, my zipper allowance here. So I'm going to slit this one open, okay. And I'm going to show you a trick of what I usually do to my waist. And there are so many things you can do, you know, to achieve that curvy back. But for this particular one, I want to be able to walk well and I want to be able to breathe well, okay. So here I'm going to cut off this one and I'm going to mark my center back. Let me mark my center back, my zipper allowance. This is my center back line before I cut off this one, so that I'll know where I'm working on, okay. All right, so I've cut out this little portion I said I don't need again, so that my stomach can breathe, okay. All right, so I'm marking here because I need to show you something. I'm going to take the back off. Before I take the back off, let me mark out the space for my darts, okay. So now, how do I get my darts? My bust point, you know, your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. And here I have mine is let's say 7.5, but I'll just approximate it. Okay, that's 4 inches. Okay, so this is the 4 inches line, so that's where I'm going to notch. I'm going to take my 1 inch that off. Okay, so I'm just going to notch that. Okay, and then let's move to what I want to. So I'm going to take this one off so that I'll be able to show you the little thing I do here. All right, so now on this edge here, you know, I've marked my portion for that. But if you look at your back, if you measure your back width, okay, is narrow, is very small. So I want to take some out from here. So I want to take like ½ inch off here. Some tutors or some teachers, they will tell you to add back the ½ inch to this side, but for me, I don't really need to add, it back, because I'll still have exactly what I need there. All right, so I'm going to mark this one, you know, just to blend it back, okay, to my back. So I'm just going to blend it back sort of to like 8 inches down. Okay, I'll just blend it back like that. Okay, so that's about 7.5. So I just blend it back like that. Okay, and what it means now is that I'm going to calculate what I have here, ½ inch. What I have here is 1.5. So from here, I have my new center back here at 8.5. Okay, so I'm going to cut that one off. I don't need this portion again. Okay, so that back can actually rest properly. All right, so I've notched that place, and that will be all for now. So I'll take it to my machine, and I'm going to sew that back. So here I'm blending this one back to meet this place. So what it means is that this is my new line. So when I'm sewing, I'm fixing my zipper somewhere here. Okay, then I'm going to close this one to somewhere. Because of my slit, I need to walk. So I will just sew from here to like 18 inches or 19. It depends on how opened I want my slit. So I'm going to stop somewhere here. Okay, so you take it to your machine. So from this, just your loose stitches, that's your you sew it for the zipper allowance. Then from here you sew somewhere here, and then you have your slit at the back. Also, you go back to fix your dart, and also the front dart. Okay, so this is the simple way I use in cutting my skirt. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Bye bye for now.